Hello and welcome. So today we're going to be looking at collecting and starting off the stratification process for rowan seed. The first part of growing rowan trees from seed. We're about early September right now, and some things are coming a little bit earlier, including the rowan, and they are absolutely covered in berries this year. So hopefully we'll get a good crop of seed. A lot of the information is quite basic, it's quite simple stuff, but there's a couple of rules we have to abide by when we're collecting seed. So let's go have a look at the process. As we pick these, we're really conscious that a lot of different birds rely on these over the winter, and we certainly don't want to affect the natural regeneration rate. We're going to waste the flesh, whereas the birds would eat the flesh and then poop out the seed. I also want to pick seed from as many different trees as possible to ensure I've got a bit more diversity. Another thing we would look at, preferentially if we're out collecting seed for rowan, is something like this. Now this is pretty mature for a rowan. Given the history of the grounds, we might assume it's part of the original planting, or perhaps just as likely some kind of natural regen, but you know, this tree could be a fair old age for a rowan. That's quite a significantly girthy trunk on that. So when we're harvesting our berries, it's really tempting just to see something like this and take the whole lot off. But we try and harvest it a bit more responsibly. So my rule of thumb is about 5%. Or another way of kind of gauging that is, if I come along and take some, and then someone took exactly the same amount again, it still wouldn't look any different. So when I'm coming to harvest, I usually have a bucket. I'm just taking one here to give you an example. And I just snip off the whole flower bud like that. I don't take any leaf buds, I don't want to damage the tree, but for ease sake, I'm going to be there all day if I pick them individually. So that's what we fill our buckets with. And let's go ahead and look at the rest of the process. Basically what we want to achieve is we want to get our seeds out. Just using a glove so it shows up a bit better. So we want these seeds separate from the flesh, so we can do our stratification process, and that can be as simple as just leaving it in compost over the winter, and that works fine for small amounts, albeit with a lower success rate. Or what we can do is put them in the fridge in some sand over the winter, and we're going to show you that process now, and it's a better, more efficient process for processing large numbers of rowan seed. Yeah, we're good. Yep, so each berry contains a number of seeds, usually around 4. And we just want to go ahead and get this separate from the flesh by smashing it up. So you've got something like this smushed up delight here. We're just going to rinse this off through 2 sieves, which separates most of the seeds from the flesh. The bottom sieve's small enough to catch the rowan seed. And you can see we've kind of got most of the seeds in this bottom sieve now, with a bit of pulp left. And then we're going to mix this in the water. And you can almost kind of carefully work the water as if you're gold panning to get most of the flesh and seeds apart. And that's them clean enough for our purposes. And then we just spin them dry. So now we're going to take some damp, not absolutely soaking, just damp sand. This is sharp sand. Mix it in with our mostly clean seed mix. Once that's mixed thoroughly, the next step is just to put them in the fridge over the winter, and then we'll sow them in the next step. You can use really any container for that. We use food bags for convenience because we have so many different types of seed in our fridge. So thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 in the spring when we sow them.